everyone, welcome back to DCS World and the Mig-21, which you can see here. We are taking off from a carrier, which was an experience. In today's video I've just got a few highlights of various fights that I had in the 21 recently, which I thought were worthwhile breaking down and talking over. So this is going to be another one of the sort of debrief videos where I have a look at what I did right, what I did wrong, and importantly what I can improve on and take forward. So let's yeet ourselves off a carrier and dive in. So here we are heading in towards a Warthog. The tricky thing about the carrier takeoffs is not just the actual carrier takeoffs, which are obviously quite a bit, but then also your equipment is really quite limited. You only get 2 R60s and you can't carry any countermeasures because you need those JATO rockets. And so we're approaching this with just R60s. I am flying with a wingman here. Now I do completely misjudge his aspects here. I thought he was heading hot towards us, but he isn't. He's actually dragging, so that's why I'm going evasive here, because I don't want to take the head on with an A10. The A10 can absolutely outburt me. But here I realise he's going away. Get a R60 lock, try and time it so that the flares are kind of a bit far away as it's going in. Do manage to get a hit, but he is still up. Follow it up with a gunshot. Get a light little tap there. Overshoot, which is normal for attacking an A10. Turn around, he's still up though. Now I am communicating with my wingman here. He's asking permission to take the shot. I encourage him to, but he can't quite get a sidewinder tone. And doesn't matter anyway, the A10 started to spiral in. Don't know exactly what I hit, but managed to take him out. After rearming and refueling, I head out and come across the same A10 in the same area. This time the A10's a bit more aware of me. He does turn in towards me here. And here I kind of make a mistake. After getting the easy splash on the first one, I really underestimate him going in here. I end up trying to turn horizontally, which is not a good idea when fighting an A10. See here, I'm trying to kind of outrate him. I have bled off the vast majority of my speed. Do manage to get my nose on here, do a very desperate guns, manage to get a fire on him, more out of luck than anything. Now I make what I thought was a sensible decision and I try and extend out. The problem is that he has A9Ps and he is now right on my tail. I do start dropping flares here, but I do forget to come out of afterburner, which really is not very good. I eat the P5 and go down. So main lesson there, never underestimate an A10. Those things are deadly. So slightly later on the same day, heading out here, heading towards a Overlord call for a Tiger 2. Struggling to get a visual ID on him, but do pick him up there on the radar. So turning towards him, do just see him off the horizon there. It might be really hard to make out, especially with YouTube compression, but he's just skirting the horizon, occasionally bobbing up above it. So I can see him, but I don't have a consistent radar lock on him. Do momentarily lose eyes, but head in the same direction I last saw him. Here again, reacquire eyes, reacquire visual. He's closing in really quite sharply here. I realise I'm too close for the radar missile. I try and go for guns, but completely whiff it. Nicely though, as I'm turning around, I do see a friendly Mig-21, so I'm a bit more relaxed. We're in a 2-on-1 here. I don't have a good energy state. I really pull too hard on the stick to try and get that gun solution there. But he's not in an overly good situation, being outnumbered, so I'm trying to keep it calm, trying to re-establish my energy here. Do still turn it a little bit fast. You can see the nose there's wibbling. I'm really pushing this at the edge of its stall. Coming back around here, again, get decent nose on, but I really leave that just a touch too late. And unfortunately that lets him get the kill on that friendly Mig-21 there. And now here I'm really in a bad state. You can see I'm in serious danger of crashing here, just because I've bled off so much speed coming out of that last turn there where I was trying to get guns on again. I do manage to save it. Now he does make a interesting decision. He decides to extend away here, which, yeah, I understand why. He's used at least one of his Fox 2s. That may have been his last Fox 2. He may not be able to see me, and so may think he just has a shot at escaping. Problem is we do end up in this chase here, and the 21 can quite easily catch up with the F5, and we're quite far into our territory, which means he's got a long way to go if he's looking to drag me into a SAM net. Now the disadvantage I have here is that he's really hugging this mountain to my left, so although I do have Sidewinder tone, there's no point firing a missile. Even if I had the range on him here, the missile would try and intercept him by going left and just smack into the mountain. So in a bit of an odd situation where I can see him, I'm in pretty good aspect of him, but I can't fire. Now I do get a bit nervous here because I do lose line of sight as he clips around this mountain here. He really did have a good shot at losing me there if he had cut his afterburner, but because his afterburner is still going, I can still see him against the ground. I do fire a bit of a hopeful Fox 2 there. We're really far away, but I'm kind of worried about him extending all the way to friendly territory at this point. Now, unfortunately he does cross behind a mountain, so my missile completely loses sight of him. It's doubtful that it even had range, but I fired anyway. It was a bit of a mistake. Here I make another bit of a mistake. I'm trying to keep this horizontal with him. Probably should have gone a lot more vertical there. The problem is on this particular day, as you can see, the cloud coverage was really low. And earlier in the day I had lost multiple targets by taking it vertical and ending up in the cloud layer and then just lose sight of everything. Now, despite me not really winning the rate fight here, I do keep my eyes on him. And then really this is where he makes his mistake. He decides to start extending again, so really all of he's done with that whole manoeuvring there is just lost a lot of distance on me. Now I do fire a missile. This was just out of range. I did check the TAC view afterwards, and it got within sort of 100 meters of him before it ran out of inertia, and there it's detonating. So at this point I've fired 2 Fox 2s at him. I do still have a Fox 1, so I'm trying to line up a shot here, but the problem is he's against the ground. I try and go onto the bore sight lock-on mode. Problem is I keep locking random ground objects instead. I think the first time I got a tree, this time I think I got a sand dune. So I kind of give up with that, just decide to close in on him, fire my guns. Quite lucky with the way he exploded there, that he went straight up to get out of my way. But very dramatic guns kill at the end of that very long chase. Now, this was about 2 minutes later. I got vectored into a Vigan, and there was a radar contact of a Sabre as well heading in. The Sabre is 30 kilometers away. That's Sabre on my radar now. I probably should have taken this saber threat a little bit more seriously, or maybe just bug out at this point. I can certainly outrun the saber. The Vigan wasn't particularly interested in me, but I followed Magic's directions towards the Vigan. I don't think he saw the saber. So I decide, well, I've still got Fox 1, I'll engage the Vigan. I'm normally not worried about engaging Vigans. Do you see the Vigan nicely here? Trying to get a lock on, go to the beam lock mode. Do manage to get that lock. And here I do fire a Fox 1, but really had a poor angle there. And so the missile just yeets itself forward, barely even tries to track. Now, here I end up turning in the 2 circle with him, and again, I'm not really worried here. I've had these circle fights with Vigans before. The Mig-21 almost always comes out on top, so I'm quite confident, but there's this problem with the saber, and I managed to take a direct hit there, go down, that saber buzzes by. I cheekily try and see if I can lock him, but I don't have enough wing power with missing a wing. But this is a tack view of that, and so you can see that I had no chance of hitting that Fox 1. And then here we can see that this Vigan really just tees me up perfectly for the saber. That was absolute perfect angle that the saber had there, and I just ate it. So I think I need to be a lot more careful when I'm in 2-on-1 situations and fly a lot more defensively, or ideally just get out. So this is the next engagement. I've been vectored into a saber. The saber is engaged by Mig-21s, but the saber's doing a pretty damn good job here at staying alive. So I join in, can see them passing under me. The saber is also taking ground AAA. At this point I mess up the first pass, but I'm just trying to drag the saber a little bit here, trying to lead him around to tee up a shot for the Mig-21. The saber doesn't take the bait though, he keeps turning, and I lose visual contact of them. Again, the other problem with this really low cloud cover is it is really dark on this map, and us struggling to spot things did make it for very interesting fights, but quite challenging fights. Now here I see something passing up ahead. Fortunately, it is the Mig-21. What I don't notice is just to my right hand side here, there is the saber just passing over the road. And unfortunately right now he is right in the canopy framework, so I completely don't see him, even with Magic trying to guide me in. But there I do see him, but a little bit too late. And here again I fall into the exact same trap that I have a couple of times here. I try flat turning with the saber, it's just not going to work. I'm absolutely playing into his hands here. I do just call out on SRS to help the other Mig-21s know the location, because I know they've been having a hard time keeping an eye on him. So just let them know he's above the road there, above the helicopter depot. And again here I'm trying to act as bait, just trying to keep the turn just enough that I can keep an eye on him so I know when to flare, but trying to keep him in a straight line so that that Mig-21 can get shot off. That one doesn't, but someone else does, and so all works. Managed to do that in the end. And sometimes the best you can do is just teeing up a kill for your allies. It's a little bit later, same flight. I'm heading into a Tiger II call. Can maybe just make out the exhaust plume up ahead. Managed to get a radar lock on the guy. See him again just ahead, just starting to pull up now. Realise it's not a good angle for the Fox 1, so decide that I'm better off going for guns. Either he's lagging or I'm lagging at this point, so he jumps around a bit, but that doesn't throw me off too badly, and I end up in really quite a good position here. I do just need to work on getting better at leading the Mig-21's guns. Luckily though, he is very slow. I think he was trying to force the overshoot here. And this is the danger with trying to force the overshoot, is if you don't manage it, you're just really teeing yourself up to be an excellent kill there. I managed to recover, heading back in again on a call here for a Tiger 2. Do have him nicely locked up and have visual on him just up ahead. And just as I'm about to enter weapons range, one of the other MiG-21s in the area does just whack him out the sky. That's fine, this was a rather target-rich environment at this point, so do quickly obtain another contact up ahead. And again, very quickly get visual ID. Even with the radar missiles, I find it much easier if I have a visual on them. It really helps me being able to lead them enough with the missile. I find it really hard just to use the radar screen itself to maintain that kind of best lead angle. By the way, here we're closing the distance. He is making himself a fairly easy target here. Within weapon range, so I fire off the Fox 1. He doesn't seem to take any particular defensive action and just eats the Fox 1. So quite happy there, that's 2 Tigers in about 2 minutes. And here is where I really lose the plot. I don't realise that I'm still merged. I check the map so I can get a bearing of what to head back to. When I come back out of the map, plane's acting a bit weird. That's because wings come off. There were 2 Tiger 2s, and the other one got me there. So yeah, never think you're out of the fight until you are definitely sure you're out of the fight, I think is the take home there. So here, once again, our Magic, which again was Flaps 1-1. He's been doing a fantastic job for us throughout this day. He's vectoring me in on a pair of A10s. This one I decided to include not really because the fight itself was all that interesting, but just because this map looks absolutely stunning on these evening settings. I would really like it if we had some more evening and night maps on Enigmas. It just looks really pretty. I did have a lock on the A10. I lost it as he dived down. He did get his weapons off, unfortunately, so he did hit his targets. And then he's doing the sensible thing, he's turning in towards me. I fire again a little bit, hopefully, but I do clip him there. And you may just be able to make out I did damage his tail quite significantly. So although he keeps going for a little bit, we see here that he's not able to hold it. I think I did a big chunk of damage to his elevators, and so he just goes in. So yeah, that was that set of sorties. It was really quite a fun day. Really enjoyed being back in the Fishbed. I've been doing a lot of other planes recently, but I do enjoy the Fishbed. And so yeah, I think the main thing I need to take home from all of that is to stop being overconfident. A lot of my mistakes were just due to me being a little bit lazy, a little bit too sure of myself, and getting into stupid situations, especially when it comes to flat turning in the 21, which it can do, but it's not the thing it's best at doing, and especially not against the likes of Warthogs and sabers. But if you enjoyed that, please do let me know down below with a like, comment, subscribe, all really does help. If you have any tips for me after seeing that, please do leave them down below. Always happy to learn, always wanting to improve, and otherwise hope to catch you in the next video. Until then, remember to be kind to yourselves and everyone else. Cheers.